Alright guys, well for my video it's time for the first tasting then here at Cape May Brewing Company, and for Paul?
It is the first tasting too that I videoed because I slammed 3 beers without even thinking about it.
It's sunny, it's nice.
Oh, by the way, this is the second brewing company I've ever been to in New Jersey.
Oh yeah, we forgot to say that in the Glasstown one that we filmed together.
That was the first.
That's the very first time, yeah, that's the very first time you've been. Is it the first time you've been to a brewery or the first time you've filmed? Okay, well...
I've never been to a brewing company in New Jersey until just now.
Well, that's quite interesting.
This is an epic event.
Yeah,
it really is.
It is. PABREWNEWS is coming outside of PA.
Yeah.
Right, so the beer that we're going to do for this one is one of my favourite styles. It's German. It's always a very good place to start with if you come and visit a brewery.
Oh, absolutely. Go for tradition.
Yeah, so I went for a pint of this thing and they brought out an English pint glass, which I was quite surprised at.
I asked for see, my pint looks a little different, but it's still a pint.
It's still a pint, it's just an illusion, it's a mirage.
It's just a...
Yeah, yeah. So it's just the heat behind us, you know?
Yep, absolutely.
So, yeah. This one is called the Boat Ramp Champ. It comes in at 5.5% ABV, and this one is a German-style Helles lager. So for those of you who don't know, the technical definition of a lager is bottom fermented beer, low temperature fermentation, usually 8 to 10 degrees, or 8 to 12 degrees Celsius.
Yep.
We've got a wasp floating around, so
60 degrees Fahrenheit.
Got that, yeah. So yeah, the Helles lager is the blonde lager. You do have the Pilsner as well, but that's more bitter. The Czech equivalent would be the Svetli. But there we go. So this one looks the part, lovely kind of rich golden straw colour. A few big bubbles sticking toward the side of the glass, a few little ones going up toward the bottom of the head. The head faded away a bit while we were kind of setting up and things. So it had about, for me it had, yeah, a little bit more than a half finger of a frothy. I would say from Paul's, that's a perfect white head.
It's a perfect white
head. Crystal clear.
Picture perfect.
Yeah, don't think we need to say anything more about the appearance.
No?
No?
It's good. Let's get our noses.
Our nose, yeah. Oh, that smells pretty authentic.
That's that. I hate that. I always use this term, and it's never a right term, but I always say that nice whiff of lager funk. Ooh. It is a beautiful little nuance that I just cannot put my finger on.
Yeah. But
it's earthy, bready, grassy, and a lager funk.
You can tell this is German malted as well.
Yes.
You can tell this is German malts in here. And I've said, we were chatting about this actually when we were at Glasstown, that because we had the Kulsch that was quite new world. I don't know what it is, like we were saying that, yeah, sometimes when it's IPAs and things, you want something different done with them. When it comes to lagers, quite often you want them to be as they would be in Germany and things. This one, I can tell from the aroma, is going to be pretty authentic.
I had 3 beers from this company already, and I can tell you, I haven't had this one, but I can tell you they're pretty damn good.
Oh yeah, I've heard very good things about Cape May.
So,
a lot of people have told me Cape May Brewery is one that we needed to visit when I was here. So yeah, Paul had a whole list of things, but like, no, let's do Cape May. So we're going to start here and see where we end up.
Absolutely, yeah. And then we're going to go, we're going to go, I was thinking maybe to a tavern after this to get a nice big meal.
Oh yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
We'll because apparently none of these places around here give food, so I'm going to go to a tavern where I know we'll get a nice meal and probably some social interaction with locals.
It could be fun, yeah.
And a quick shag in the bathroom. Could
be fun. Why not? Yeah, just me and Paul, because we're friends that way. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, I think very authentic. Oh, so I forgot we got the nose, didn't we?
Yeah. No, we were doing a little nose.
Oh yeah.
But nice toasted. That toasted bread is so defined. It is so nice.
Yeah. I mean, fresh white bready bread crust.
Oh.
Bit of brown bread, bit of white bread.
Almost like a honey wheat.
Oh yeah, this one has a wee bit, it's 5.5%, so remember these beers are normally 4.5 or something, so it is a bit stronger. That would probably explain the colour of it a bit as well. And that explains the fact that you get a bit more biscuit and a bit more like caramelly.
You might have a little more like caramel 10, caramel 60 involved too, but there's something going on here where this lager funk, that earthy grassiness, and that nice kind of almost buttered toasted brown bread is all coming together with this amazing flavor.
Yeah, exactly. I would say that, yeah.
Wow.
Hoppy side of things, that typical German noble earthiness, little bit of herbal character, or herbal in American.
Herbal.
Herbal's good, okay. Little bit of bright floral note. Herbal. Yeah.
God damn herbal gerbils.
Goddamn herbal gerbils.
Herbal's fine too.
A little bit of oily, grassy, a wet kind of. The green component's quite wet, I think. Yeah.
It's like when you're running through a field in spring.
Yeah. The fruity side of things, oily pear, maybe a little bit of like fresh green apple, maybe a tiny hint of apricot. Sultana is a good one as well. Yeah. Anything else?
No. Let's get into it.
Slanja.
Cheers. You see what I'm saying with that funkiness though? Is that lager funk?
It's got that little acidy double decoction mash, That's pretty authentic though. It is, as I say, this is a little bit stronger than a Helles, and considering where we are in Cape May, this place can get pretty damn hot. I would say, again, this is one of these American lagers where the flavour profile is right, but the mouthfeel is just different. It's not as dry as what you'll find from a Helles in Munich or whatever.
No, it keeps the malt base just a little bit longer. It's still kind of wafting on the palate, the malt base. I'm not getting the lager funk in the aftertaste, just the foretaste, but not the aftertaste, which is really, really nice, which means I won't linger back up on you later. But I could say that this needs to be a little bit more sharp on the back end, but what I'm getting is very pleasant.
Yeah, it's a very, I mean, this is a very nice Helles lager. As I say, it's a bit stronger. This could probably, pardon me, if you told people this was a fest beer, it probably could pass for a fest beer. You probably could, yeah.
I actually should probably just say you probably need to try the fest beer because it was pretty damn solid too.
Oh, that's maybe a shout,
yeah. Pretty damn solid.
You could pass this one for the fest beer. I think the October one they have in there is actually a Märzen rather than the fest beer.
It is a Märzen, and it's actually, it's not the most robust one I've ever had, but it's pretty damn solid. I have a pint here to enjoy, so I think I don't need much to talk him into enjoying an Oktoberfest.
If we can get rid of that fucking wasp.
Yeah, well,
yeah. So backbone of the beer, fresh white bready bread crust again. You've got a little bit of a crackery character further forward on the middle third of the palate, maybe very slightly woody.
Again, let me point this out: minerality, saltiness, by the sea, terroir.
Yep, water profile,
Yeah, because everything we've had here has a definite like nuance and a saline quality that just gives everything. It brightens everything up. It firms every middle up. It firms it up in the middle, and it makes you want to drink it more.
It almost gives you a wee bit of like that tongue sweaty type thing, like a very slight acidity. Yeah,
and I just want to go.
Salt would do the opposite.
More beer, please. More beer, please. More beer.
Yeah, that's how these
companies survive. I have actually learned that I cannot live by the sea. Or I will drink all the time. We just had an epiphany here.
Oh, okay.
Do we visit the sea to get drunk? We should not live by the sea.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
Peacoat sailor Paul will never be.
But you've got a big pirate jacket, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he has a pirate jacket.
Just in case.
Yeah. Above the bread, so yeah, you've got white bread, a bit of brown bread actually, a bit of white bread, sweeter, little bit of sweet caramel in the middle of the palate. Bit of a McVitie's digestive biscuit.
Well, nice one. Like a hobnob without the actual chocolate. Just a little bit of digestive biscuit.
Do you get that here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay, right.
Maybe because nobody else does, but I know where to find the good stuff.
Oh, okay.
And then, but I like the fact that you're pointing out that it has a bigger bready body. Again, that kind of almost honey wheat vibe. That's different.
See, this one's a bit more oily than a Helles maybe should be. That's why I say it's a bit more like a fest beer.
It's actually, because that's the thing is, when he asked me what ABV, I said probably about 4 or 5, you know? And he says 5.5, and I'm like, whoa, okay, that's bigger than I thought it would be.
Yeah, so that's why I say this is more like a fest beer, and that's the colour.
See, this is the colour it should look like now, but if you get it in volume, it has that deeper hue. So that would indicate automatically a thicker malt body, and so we're getting it in spades. We're getting layers of bread, cracker, biscuit, the whole deal. The only thing I don't like about this beer is it isn't sharp and crisp at the end.
Yeah, it's a bit more oily and wet for sure. Yeah. I think the yeasty side isn't showing you too much in this one. Hoppy wise, it's typical noble, like Tettnang, Hallertau.
I think, what about that? Bump the hops. You bump this up, it would balance out that malt base and you'd have a killer.
Could be, yeah.
I think that's what we're missing here. We're missing a firmer hop body.
I think generally though, like America, depending where you are in the States, and again, if you think about Germany versus the US is warmer and more humid than Germany is, and that would mean that, for me, that makes sense when you're talking about these beers, is they have to be a bit wetter to be thirst quenchers. So that, to me, it makes sense from that perspective. But yeah, a little bit more hop in this one certainly wouldn't hurt. But
there is a nice little side on the sides of your palate when it goes down. There is a nice peppery earthiness. It's biting there. It gives you a little bit of floral tonality. It mixes with that lager funk, as I said before. It goes with that brightness. But I think it just needs amped up to give it that quenching, quenching tonality that really need to let you know.
Oh yeah,
you know,
it is quite refreshing, as I say, but it's just wetter. Just to say, you just need a bit of crispness in this.
Yeah, the oiliness is spot on. There's an oiliness to the beer, and it's lingering because you don't have that rapier-like hop acidity to try to clean that up. And next one, you know.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
I think if we just did that, that would be fucking fantastic.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, green component, typical as we said, the noble hops, earthy, herbal, maybe a very slight touch woody, floral, wet grassy. Fruity side of the beer is kind of what we said with the aroma, oily pear, slight apricot underneath, bit of sultana, maybe behind the front tip of the tongue, very slight like fresh green apple.
I don't get apple in this, and I'm really glad I don't. It's just one of those ones I'm not pulling out. Usually that's the acetylaldehyde, blah blah blah.
I think take a little look at have a wee look at the impact on that.
Well, you've had yours out a little bit more, and I think that kind of it definitely changes the compounds too. So I made sure it didn't get light struck when it was sitting out here while I was doing his videos, but it's getting to that point. That lager funk is changing. Yeah, it's actually more profound in your beer than it was in mine.
Yeah, I think it has got just a very slight apple on the impact. Very slight.
I could see this in yours because it's not the rind of it; it's that flesh, the flesh of a green apple.
Yeah. All right.
Because I'll tell you what, have you ever had a nice double tripel? Or actually a quad where you get a nice rind of a red apple. Yeah, it's amazing. Oh, okay. But I can see how you're getting a slight flesh of a green apple in this after it's sat out for a little bit.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But cold, crushable, good. I just wish this malt base, whether the hop base was kicked up that extra notch.
Oh yeah, but it's nice anyway.
It is nice.
Body wise, top end a light bodied, bottom end a mid bodied. Carbonation has a bit of crispness to it, but as I say, this beer is quite oily and quite wet in that sense. Oily. We've covered that. IBUs, I think, is probably a standard 20, but it's heavier in its malt base, so it maybe feels a bit less. Malt base, bit dry underneath, smooth in the middle, sweeter and oily on top, then just a little bit of an oily fruitiness with dryness in the aftertaste. Is that it?
What would you put this at? Would you say that's his textbook or a little bit above? Because I want to say a little bit above, but that's that back end is kind of knocking me back down to 7.5.
I think to me it needs to be a bit crisp and drier to be a Helles.
Absolutely.
But I'm coming at this from the European perspective. I can see why this would be.
It's the same one that I'm going from. So I'm knocking this down a little bit. I'm knocking it down to like a 7. I want to give it higher, but it's not giving me that refreshing aftertaste, next one kind of a thing.
Yeah, I think for me it's solid, not as true to the style as it could be, more like a fest beer. So I can see I can see why Paul would rate it that way.
Yeah. I'm knocking it down a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's still fine. It's still a quencher. Like you grab this after you got done mowing the lawn and stuff, I could still see it being hitting the spot. Yeah. But if you could make it better, this thing would just shoot the hell up. Yeah, absolutely.
That's good.
And I like the fact that you can. And the thing is about beer reviews and stuff. When we get together, you could make positive changes, and we're trying to be constructive. Yeah. Constructive criticism, a little change here, a little change there, and your beers can go through the roof.
Oh yeah, no, that's it. Is that everything we need to say about this one?
Pretty much.
Boat Ramp Champ, 5.5% ABV. The first beer in my video and a standalone review for Paul. I think that's that. So that's it. Catch you guys in a second with something else.
Cheers.
And see you again on Paul's channel later. Cheers.